I think you should start out by saying something like, life was bland, concerts were okay, then Stuart arrived, and the world was turned upside down.
Orchestral curling.
Orchestral curling.
I love curling. I'm sorry. And like, so every time it's on the Olympics, I watch it. And so then I just thought, oh, it'd be kind of fun. I find it so hilarious whenever they're doing the brooms and
it's a goofy sport,
and somebody's yelling, and then I thought we could do this with a Roomba.
Completely your brainchild. It was a magnificent thought.
Yeah, the hard part about that was getting a Roomba to go straight.
Yeah, controlling it is impossible.
But somehow we did. We got it to go straight.
Really, really good. And I do think that there were people in the audience who were just a little bit confused, like, what exactly are we watching? So this is it here? Is this oh, great.
Yeah. And of course, I'm just using a...
We thought that we would do something a little bit extra special for you today.
Yeah, so you announced it. And this is still back during the old shell, too.
Yeah.
No, this is the new shell.
Is this?
Yeah, the old... So this happened after...
it was
this happened after the triangle, because the triangle was with the
the triangle was the first one.
So I believe this would have been 2018, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah, that would be the Winter Olympics year, right?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, and I'm using a Swiffer. It starts to curl right there. So it actually does curl. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
2 goofballs in front of an orchestra.
Pretty much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you should know that you were the first
Yeah, that was fun.
to experience orchestral.
Yeah, and I think it was Lucas maybe brought in a Roomba, because I didn't have one at the time.
Oh, it was Lucas's Roomba.
I think it was Lucas's Roomba.
Because I remember backstage before the thing, like, trying to get it to go straight.
We tested a couple of Roombas. I think Eric and Nancy brought in a Roomba as well, Nancy Chang, and we picked whichever one would go straight.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one did
But
pretty well,
still,
and it curled, which is
curl.
what you want. You were brooming. And
well, yeah, I like to think it's because of my impeccable technique. Believe it or not, there is a curling club in Tampa Bay, and I sent them that video saying, "Can you please put me on a team?" They actually
were they not amused?
Oh, they were very amused. I went out to their place. It's out near Wesley Chapel, and I did a little learn to curl session. It's hard.
It is really hard.
And I wanted to be on a team, but they always have league play on Saturday night, and sadly, we're usually performing something on Saturday night. Because I even had my team name picked out and everything.
Another casualty.
My team name was going to be Broom. There it is.
That's a good one. I like that.
Oh, this is the dancing one.
The dancing.
There's a little, sounds like a tap dance break in the middle, and so we can't,
Bum, bum.
Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. And we both pretended like we could do some tap dancing.
Well, and I think what led to that was I was talking with somebody backstage, and we were saying, like, okay, you've sung, you've played the piano, you've made jokes, you did curling. What don't you do? And I said, I really don't dance. And they say, well, I think maybe it's time to dance. So this was the perfect opportunity to dance for our coffee audience.
Okay. It's a buck and wing, I think that's called. Did you forget about that part?
It's like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. Oh, we're the boys of chorus. We hope you like our show. We know you're rooting for us, but now we have to go.
That might be my favorite thing ever. That was really funny.
That's pretty good.
Wow. How could I have forgotten about that?
Yeah, it was just one of
Again, if you can't take fiddle faddle with a grain of salt, the next natural progression from there was singing together.
Yeah.
We were doing a performance of Broadway music,
Yeah.
and you approached me again saying, I would love to sing a song when you do your next Broadway show, because I did a number of songs. I think I sang like the Major General song, and I don't remember what else, but I had sung a few songs over the course of the Coffee series, and at this point we had established this rapport, and the audience expected something with Stuart and John together, and so it was good. And I thought we chose the perfect song, which was "Brush Up Your Shakespeare," of course, by Cole Porter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that you were saying colporteur, which is
Cole Porter, someone who sells books and newspapers.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, Cole Porter. Cole Porter.
Colporteur.
What does that mean?
But the funny thing would be like not to be confused with Cole Porter.
Cole. That would be very funny.
A colporteur is a person who sells books, newspapers, and similar
Cole
literature.
Porter. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we going to get this in?
I don't know. You just have.
Well, we could talk about Brush Up Your Shakespeare.
Well,
we did do that.
Yes, and you can say, of course, that was by Cole Porter, and I'll hit it, and I'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were
Cole Porter.
I thought you were saying colporteur."
And I'll say, "Oh, you mean a collector of old books?
No, a person who sells books.
A person who
newspapers.
sells books and newspapers." That's really funny. I like that.
Okay, good. Oh, look at that. Right up front. I had my bell ready.
Cole. Yeah, this is the bell.
This is the bell. Even says TFO on it.
The Cole Porter duet, Brush Up Your Shakespeare. So let's talk about the word of the day, because this was a first for me. John was giving me all kinds of garbage for the words that I used in my introductions, and I don't know. It's the way I talk.
Well, it wasn't just that; it was in rehearsal. He's a Harvard man. He's a brainiac, and he'd drop all these big words into rehearsal.
That's
and so
me.
I think I just said, like right before you went on stage one day, I said, "Okay, smart Alec, I want you to work this vocabulary word into your banter with the audience," and you did. And then I said, "Oh, we should let the audience in on this, that we're doing this, because only you and I knew about it."
That's right. But you started doing the ding fairly soon after we began.
Yeah, just to show that was the word that was
I mean, the
happening.
first one was really just doing it, I guess, just so that you would know that I could work it. I don't know.
Yeah, it was actually just an in joke the first few times. Yeah, the first few times, yeah.
The things musicians do to entertain themselves.
It was just really for you and me. And then I think I told the percussion section, I told Stuart he has to say this word. And then we might have shuffled our feet.
And I kept thinking, I remember, what is it? What was Groucho Marx's show on TV? Whatever it was, a chicken would come down with the word of
You
the
Bet
day.
Your Life.
You Bet Your Life. And there was the magic word. You said the magic word. You get $100. And
Pee Wee Herman had it also on Pee Wee's Playhouse.
That's right.
Whenever you would hear the word, magic word or the word of the day, all the kids at home were supposed to scream.
And then the furniture would start doing things. So all of these, there was precedent. So we didn't come out of nowhere, but it really did kind of take a life onto its own. And as soon as I let the audience in on it, they loved it. And the few times, truly 1 or 2 times that we didn't do a magic word, probably because I forgot to incorporate it, I'd get emails saying, what happened to the magic word? What was the magic word?
Well, and I've been stopped in the grocery store.
No way.
By people saying, I missed what was the word of the day, and I'd have to tell them and give them the definition, and they're like, oh, we just love that. I was doing a Christmas gig once all the way up in Spring Hill, which is way north, and some lady in the choir came up to me to ask me about the word of the day.
It adds something to the concert that the audience is tuned into.
Yeah.
And so, there's the anticipation. When's it going to come? What's it going to be? They got harder and harder as time went on. The early days, using a word like a store, that wasn't a very hard one. No, it was always kind of, it started with kind of SAT words.
Yeah.
And then it became like obscure words that no one's ever heard of.
Exactly.
And then it became kind of like medical terms.
Yeah,
that
so
no one's ever heard of.
Other people in the orchestra would come up and say, "Oh, here's a good word for Stuart." And my daughter came up with a few words, and and I think she came up with the longest one.
That's right. The
hippopotomonstrodestropocophobia or something.
And there was another one, fear of the number 13, triskaidekaphobia.
There was one that was all vowels.
That was my favorite. Something like that. It was. I don't even remember what it meant, but it was a word.
It was some sort of a chant or chorale.
I used it. Fit it in.
The challenge was that I wanted you to use it in context. You couldn't just say it. You had to sort of work it in to be somehow somewhat related.
And I think I did okay with that.
No, you did very well with it. Yeah.
But that's been a real joy.
I told you, look, I'm going to come out, I'm going to do something, and when you think I'm done, you can say...
I don't even, what did I say?
Think
Florida
you said,
Orchestra.
You said a triangle solo, surprising,
That's right.
but not as surprising as how much money you'll save with a subscription to the Florida Orchestra.
And it was Hall of the Mountain King, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, such technique. Yeah, there's Vivek preparing to be shocked.
You saw him. He looks back at you.
Eternity.
I was trying to do like a guitar player, but they usually do the up.
Like the.
I should have done
the
it
Who.
the other way. Yeah. I like how slowly.
Nice hip action. Ooh, under the leg.
I like how slowly you turned around.
There's the Martin Short.
Yeah. And then here comes the...
I couldn't do that if I dreamed.
Here's where Molter went. I didn't think I could do that.
Very impressive.
I'm kind of surprised that I didn't.
A triangle solo? Surprising. What's not surprising is how much money you can save by buying a subscription.
Amazing. Weren't you like asked to be on America's Got Talent or something like that?
Yes. I mean, a producer called me about it, but I was like, how would that work? I mean, it was, are you going to have an orchestra on stage and I'm going to crash the party? I mean, it's...
Or even more than that, if you get past the first round, what do you do for the second round?
I don't know. He just thought it was funny, I guess, but it never panned out. I never actually got asked to come out there. He was just talking to me about it, but I thought it was a joke at first when he left me a voicemail.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I don't know how he found my number.
What was most wonderful about this, I mean, we did this shtick and it was really funny. The audience completely ate it up. The orchestra was taken completely by surprise.
My favorite part of that video is seeing Vivek in the back of the violin section, and I come on and he kind of looks like, and he looks back at you almost like,
Look what's happening.
Do you know what's happening right now? And then the other thing I never noticed until I saw somebody commented about it on Facebook or something was that when I go down on my knees, Jeff Molter then whips me with his bow. I didn't even know that happened.
But whoever thought that it would be this viral video? Every couple of months, I'll get an email or a text message from someone I know, sometimes from friends of my kids who will say, "Is this you? I just saw this thing. Is this you?" It's like, uh-huh. They're like, "Wow, you're so cool." It's like, and you don't get that very often as a conductor from a 20-year-old.
That's
you're
true.
So cool.
I think a lot of people have forgotten that started off as a Geico commercial where
we've had more play than they have.
Yeah, where the guy, they're doing a orchestra concert and the triangle player comes out front and he takes over and does a little solo. And of course, somebody asked me when that commercial first came out and said, "Have you seen this?" And so I saw it, and I remember sitting on the couch just like delighted watching this commercial, and Anna Kate, my wife, principal harpist, turns to me and says, "You're not going to do that." And I'm like,
"She knows you well."
I said, "Oh, no, of course not." And of course, the next week, I think you showed up and you said, "What? Hey, what's going on?" And I said, "Have you seen that Geico commercial with the triangle?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "We should do that." He goes, "All right, we're going to do it." With the typewriter, right, you started it, and then you came and played the typewriter. And that's my typewriter. It's an old Smith Corona. It's kind of hard to find those.
I
And
have one at home. I took my grandfather's. My mom was ready to throw it out. I was like, you are not throwing that out.
Yeah.
I needed, but it got jammed a lot.
So I was sitting here with this bell.
Yeah.
Doing the carriage return. Oh. And then I missed it. I either missed a few of them or I was pretending I didn't know where to come in, I think. And then you're kind of glaring at me.
Man, I need this video.
You got to do something with these because, as with all of these Leroy Anderson tunes, after a few seconds, everyone's like, "Yeah, I get it. I get the joke."
Yep.
And then it kind of goes on for a while, so you might as well dress it up.
Absolutely. I mean, I am as
I haven't
big
seen
a
that
Leroy
one.
Anderson fan as you have out there. I really do love Leroy Anderson. It makes me happy, makes me smile.
Yeah.
But you're right, with these novelty ones, which are, I mean, this is about the first four measures.
Yeah.
And then
You're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. It
It's a
does lose the
clickety-clack.
joke.
Yeah.
But the other fun thing is that this led to the orchestra feeling comfortable. So I'm thinking of that trombone thing where they played the Darth Vader theme during
Oh,
the
God, that
Imperial
was
March
great.
during the Capulets and Montagues.
Yeah. That's
You
so
know,
good.
and that took me completely by surprise. I had no idea they were going to do it. And so what do you do? So people are like remarking, it's like, and you were unflappable. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I smiled. I thought it was hysterically funny. I applauded them. We continued on.
Well, just like the Far Side cartoon, you know, on your stand, we suppose there's a sheet of paper that says, wave your arms until the music stops, then turn around and bow.
That's basically my life. But I love the idea that we created an environment in which the trombones felt completely comfortable doing something like this, which was brilliant. So it used up, 10 seconds of rehearsal.
But we put
Everyone laughed.
It got a splash on Facebook.
It got a splash on Facebook, got a lot of likes, a lot of watches.
It has 15 million on TikTok.
It has 15 million views on TikTok.
Wow.
That is amazing. And so I'm viral twice over.
I'm sure that one, I don't know if that was Joel's idea. He's a little bit of an imp.
It was either Joel or Ross.
Or Ross,
And they apologized to me afterwards. They were like, I hope it wasn't a problem. I hope that it's like, a problem. I live for these things.
Oh, no. I
was
laughed
a work
out
of
loud.
genius.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
And it actually sounded like it made sense in the music.
Yes.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in my rehearsal gear.
Unfortunately, we can't hear it.
You can see Joel already. He's looking impish.
He's already laughing.
Something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here we go. Allons-y.
Well, I credit you for not stopping and just letting it
Well, part of
play
it was
out.
I wanted to see where they'd go with it. Like how long.
You can see Lucas. You can see Lucas laughing.
Spectacular.
So
Everyone wants to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing worse than a joyless environment.
No.
And anything you can do to brighten it up is going to just make things better.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's even in rehearsal, and the audiences didn't see that except for the clip that we posted.
And God, had we done it in performance, it would have been 10 times better even. I would have happily done it, stopped, said something to the audience, and then started again.
Well, yeah, the audience would have loved that, especially with an explanation.
Yep.
This part
So
is reminiscent
funny.
of John Williams, so sometimes I can't stop the trombones from being
Those
trombonists.
trombones, they are awfully good.
Yeah.
They sounded great doing the Imperial March as well.
Champagne
Yeah.
Polka was
That was a classic.
the funniest one. Because we took a selfie. I remember part of the shtick
Oh, that's
was
right.
I came up and I took a selfie with you on the podium, and then somebody, after they saw the video on Facebook, said, "Do you have the selfie?" So then I posted.
And you found the selfie.
I found the selfie and I posted it.
The champagne, that was, and that was one that completely came from you. I didn't even know that there was any shtick involved. And yet you had this enormous
Yeah.
cork gun.
Well, that's our regular pop gun.
Yeah. This was all on you. You were masterful.
I came up with a lot of this stuff years ago. We did this with Doc Severinsen, Tonight Show band leader. He used to come here and guest with us on Pop's concerts a lot. He wanted me to do the pop gun up front for Champagne Polka, and he said, have fun with it. Like,
He didn't know who he was dealing with.
And so I came out and I had all this stuff planned, basically a lot of this same stuff. I think I pull a beer out of my pocket and drink it, and things like that, and these visual gags. And then he practically hugged me in the hallway afterwards because he's like, "You milked that for all it was worth."
Yeah. Oh God, that thing.
Well, the funny thing too about this is, well, there's a lot of. First, I get an A from the oboist, and I quote, check the tuning of my pop gun. I like the stoic look on your face. That's to be expected. The checking of the tuning of the pop gun, and
the facial expression.
I know. And
Brilliant.
then I start counting measures, and I figure I've got a lot of time here. So I think I sit down and eat an apple or something. Yes, that's what it is. Because there's time to kill, as there usually is when you're a percussionist, and then get up and get ready to come back in.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and then this is the beer. This is a beer.
It is a real beer.
Yeah, and I think when I obviously didn't have time to drink all of it, I think I took it back to the section, and then I think Grissom drank the rest of it before I could get to it, even though it's 11 a.m. Yeah, I like seeing some of the other people trying to play and not watch
laugh,
me
yeah.
at the same time. Well, and then I got it stuck right here. I tried to be softer, and the cork didn't come out. And you kind of looked at me like, "What's going on?" And then here's where we do the selfie. And so I did actually. I still have that picture. We'll have to post it.
That's great.
And then I'm about to miss my note, and I think I was late or missed one. Whoops. And trying to remember what happens here. Oh, I decide to. This
What do
is.
you have there?
I've got a mirror. I'm doing
the mirror.
The Annie Oakley trick shot over your shoulder, as though I'd have to look at it. Like, all you have to do is listen for when the pop happens, and there it is. Yeah.
Good thing you brought the mirror.
I know it was strictly a gag. And I've got a search in my. All of a sudden, I realized it's coming up, and I've forgot to put on my blindfold for the final trick shot. I have to. Well, and here's the really good thing about this is that one of our extras, Craig Benson, Skippy as we know him,
Yep.
comes out to give me some flowers, and he's 6'8", and then I'm hugging,
Skippy.
and he wants nothing to do with it. Yeah, that was fun. It's always fun when
You're a genius, John.
Well, like you said, I mean,
You can't have
that's
fun making
fun.
music. My
It's fun for. I
goodness.
mean, how interesting is Champagne Polka on its own? I mean, it's like, again, as soon as you do one pop gun thing,
I also have to
you
imagine
get the joke.
Johann Strauss would have enjoyed the shtick.
Oh, he would have loved it.
You know, I think that you know, if we did pop gun shtick for like the Adagietto from Mahler 5, it would have been a different kind of thing.
Exactly.
But it's the flippin' champagne polka.
I know. Anything that's a sound effect, I mean, you kind of get the gist of the joke after a few measures. But the piece is going to be 3 or 4 minutes long. You might as well do something with it.
You know, watching all of these things, that it definitely fills me with a lot of nostalgia, and it makes me feel sad that this is coming to an end. But
yeah, definitely.
I want to thank you because it's well, first of all, because we've become friends. That's
Yeah,
that's what this
course.
is all about. But more than that, to have someone who is not just willing to go along with my shenanigans, but come up with even crazier shenanigans on their own that I can go along with. I mean, this has been a dream come true. Totally, totally awesome. And I think if you asked our audience to a person, they would say the same thing, that one of the things they liked best about the Coffee series was the dynamic between the two of us. And, I'm eternally grateful.
Well, I certainly enjoyed it. So and I was happy to have somebody who would go along with my shenanigans, much to my wife's chagrin.
You are a welcome champagne cork soloist any day in my schedule.
All right, next time you're doing it in Harrisburg, I expect a call.
You're on.